Uganda's economy may appear to be growing on paper, but in reality, it leaves most of us behind. As I said, more than 60% of the working age in Uganda, which is roughly 15 million people, are unemployed, or, depending on the case, underemployed, meaning that they either have no job at all or survive on unstable, low-paying work. In this crisis, we might not give it as much importance, but it's one of the most serious challenges facing Uganda today, where every year about 400,000 youth enter the job market to compete for only 90,000 available positions. This means the majority of young people, even those with degrees, remain jobless or underpaid. We've seen this in our country. Wealth is concentrated among a small group of elites, while most ordinary Ugandans struggle to afford food, rent, and school fees. Uganda's economy depends heavily on the informal sector, where most people earn less than 10,000 shillings in one day, with no contracts, no job security. And the main cause of this isn't that Ugandans are lazy, but that the system has failed to create opportunities. Corruption, poor planning, and lack of industrial growth have left millions of Ugandans struggling. The government has focused on loans and political survival, instead of building industries, factories, and training centers that create lasting jobs. Small businesses which could create local jobs are ignored and overtaxed, while large companies owned by the powerful enjoy very, very unfair advantages. Many of the educated youth now see no hope in their own country, and they're forced to go abroad to work as maids, guards, or drivers just to survive in this world. In a country so rich in natural resources, it's unacceptable that young and skilled Ugandans are unemployed, while government officials waste billions of taxpayer income. Unemployment in Uganda is not only an economic issue, it's a national emergency that continues to rob an entire generation of its future. The solutions to this that the National Unity Platform came up with was that it wants to reduce unemployment by creating 10 million new jobs by 2032. Their plan focuses on helping young people learn real skills that lead to work, like in farming, building, tourism, technology, and small businesses. NEP says schools should teach practical skills, not just theory, and support young people through vocational training centers, where they can learn trades like mechanics, tailoring, and carpentry, among others. NEP also wants to grow factories and local industries so that Uganda can make and sell its own products instead of importing everything. They plan to support tourism and technology, lower the cost of the internet, and make it easier to start a business in Uganda. In short, NEP's goal is to give every Ugandan a chance to work and build a better future for themselves and their families. Corruption. Uganda's biggest problem isn't the lack of money or natural wealth. It's corruption and mismanagement. Uganda suffers from weak governance, lack of accountability, centralized power, and a system that serves a small political elite instead of the people of Uganda. We're not a poor nation by resources. We are a rich country run very poorly. We have a wealth of natural treasures, from tourism and forests to oil, minerals, and fertile land. In 2022, Uganda announced the discovery of 31 million tons of gold ore, worth an estimated $12 trillion. Yet ordinary Ugandans will never see that wealth improve their lives. Under Museveni's government, the systems of wealth are designed to benefit a few within close political circles. The truth is, in a corrupt system like this, even gold becomes more like a curse instead of a blessing. Because corruption has crippled our industries, Uganda lacks the refineries and industrial capacity to process its own gold, forcing the country into unequal deals with foreign powers that then come and exploit our resources. If Uganda were well governed and transparent, that gold would build schools, would build hospitals and factories. But today, corruption ensures that it builds mansions, buys more cars for convoys, and foreign bank accounts for the powerful few. Some of the solutions that the National Unity Platform came up with were that it wants to fight corruption by making the government open and honest and accountable accountable to the people. The plan is to make sure all public money is tracked and every project is transparent and tracked so that no one can steal without being caught. NUP says no leader should be above the law, and anyone found stealing government money should be punished, no matter their position. NUP wants to put more power in the hands of the citizens through open budgets and public information initiatives and community monitoring of local projects so that everyone can know what their government plans to do, all the way from local government to the office of the president of the country. NUP also plans to reduce unnecessary government spending and strengthen anti-corruption offices and make it easier for whistleblowers to report corruption safely instead of getting arrested by the people they work under. NUP's goal is a Uganda where leaders serve the people and not themselves. Now let's talk about education and healthcare. In Uganda, many children don't finish school because of high cost of education, poor facilities, and lack of teachers in schools, especially in the more rural areas. Schools often have overcrowded classrooms and little access to books, computers, or clean water. In the healthcare sector, many hospitals and clinics do not have enough medicine, equipment, or doctors, causing people to travel very long distances or die from very treatable diseases. And mothers also die trying to give birth to their kids. Both these systems suffer from corruption and underfunding, leaving ordinary Ugandans without the quality services that they deserve and that they pay for through their taxes. The solutions for these are that the National Unity Platform plans to make education and healthcare free, fair, and accessible for all Ugandans. They want to improve teachers' pay, build more schools, and give students the tools they need to learn, including computers and vocational training for practical skills. For healthcare, NUP will equip hospitals and raise salaries for health workers and ensure every district has enough doctors and nurses. They also plan to set up community health centers so that people can get treatment close to home and reduce the number of mothers that are dying during childbirth. NUP's goal is to build a Uganda where every child can study and every single citizen can get medical care without struggling. Let's talk about the national debt and the inflation of the Uganda shilling. The problem is that Uganda's national debt has passed 96 trillion Ugandan shillings, which is around 25 billion US dollars as of 2024, according to the Ministry of Finance. This means nearly half of every shilling collected in taxes now goes toward paying back loans and interest instead of improving schools, hospitals, or infrastructure. The debt has grown almost 5 times higher in the last decade because of heavy borrowing, corruption, and poor management of public funds. At the same time, inflation has reached over 10% in 2023, pushing up the prices of food, transport, and fuel. 1 kilogram of sugar that once cost 3,000 Uganda shillings can now cost about more than 5,000 Uganda shillings, and many families can no longer afford basic needs. The combination of rising debt and high inflation has weakened Uganda's currency and has reduced the value of salaries and made life harder for millions of citizens. NUP solutions are that they plan to bring financial discipline and honesty back to the Uganda government. They will limit new loans to only those that directly create jobs and grow local industries or improve critical services like health, education, and transport. All new borrowing will be approved openly in Parliament with clear reporting on how every shilling is spent. NUP also plans to cut unnecessary government expenses such as oversized convoys, foreign trips, and inflated contracts that waste billions every single year. To fight inflation, NUP will support local farmers and factories so that Uganda produces more of its own food and goods instead of importing every single thing. They will also stabilize the shilling by reducing the trade gap and reducing imports and increasing exports like coffee, gold, and manufactured products. With these changes, NUP's goal is to build a stable economy where money keeps its value and businesses can grow without fear, and where ordinary Ugandans can see real results from the taxes We're not fighting to replace a man with another man. We are fighting to replace a dictatorship with a government that serves its people. A true democracy. NUP represents a new Uganda. One where leaders serve, not rule. Where truth replaces fear and youth replace old politics. So, what's the plan? NUP plans, first off, in governance and justice, to cut corruption by making procurement and budgets fully public, to limit presidential powers and restore term limits, to strengthen the judiciary's independence, and to advocate for press freedom. NUP believes that no one man should be above the law, not even the president. Jobs and economy. NUP wants to prioritize local industries and agriculture to employ millions of Ugandans. NUP wants to reduce taxes on small businesses and startups. NUP wants to invest in the youth and innovation hubs and vocational training. In the health sector and education, NUP wants to equip hospitals with essentials and increase doctor pay, to make primary and secondary education free and modern, and to fund local schools directly, no middlemen stealing the funds. Every single child deserves a desk, and every single mother deserves a doctor. In land, agriculture and environment, NUP wants to end land grabbing and register land under community titles, to invest in irrigation, in fertilizer and local farmers, to protect Uganda's forests, lakes and minerals from exploitation. Now, for the call to action. Change does not come from waiting. It comes from showing up. We need to register, we need to vote, and we need to protect that vote. 2026 will not be just a year for an election. It will be a statement. Share this video, talk to your friends, because silence keeps the system alive and our voices will help end it. I want to end my video with these statements. We are the generation that will finish what our parents started. And a new Uganda is not just a thing that we dreamt up, and that it should not just be a dream, it should be a decision. In 2026, vote Chagulanyi for president. The future is now, and people power.